Well, Misam, thanks so much for joining us. We're at Generative AI Summit in DC. Maybe you can just tell the people that unfortunately couldn't make it today what you discussed on stage. You joined us for some panel sessions.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for having me, right? So I was part of two panel sessions, right? One was on explainability and its relation with ethics, right? So we in that panel, right, we talked about like what does explainability mean to different audiences, and it was about like what is explainability in traditional models, um, and then what is explainability for large language models, and explainability can mean uh, can be taken at different levels, which is like when you're looking at the outputs of the model, what is the model thinking about, what kind of training data that went into the model. So that was super interesting. And the other panel, which was also related, which was talking about the regulatory landscape and what implications it has for Gen AI. Um, and it had connection to explainability, but it was also about how organizations can be prepared um, for Gen AI and coming regulations. And to a large extent, it was about having those processes in place. It was about being proactive. It was about like collaborating between the product developers and the compliance teams. So that's what we talked about.
Yeah, I love that second panel session. It was
Mm-hmm.
interesting. Zarina, one of the other speakers, was kind of
Mm-hmm.
on the European side of things as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe could you share a bit about your take on the kind of innovation versus regulation debate quickly?
Yeah, I mean, it's just we could talk forever about that, right? But I think like most good things in life, for fortunately or unfortunately, come with a kind of trade-off, right? Which is, and this trade-off is also represented in the way the language models are trained, right? Which is the aspect about helpfulness, how helpful the model is, and how harmless it is. So I see the trade-off between innovation and regulation on similar lines. You want the free space for innovation, but you do want it to operate with certain guarantees of harmlessness. So, for example, to take the analogy of large language models further, if you have trained the model for helpfulness, it would helpfully tell you about how to make a bomb, right? Or how to design chemical weapons. Now, we are not currently at the state of the art where those models can exceed what you can get off Google,
Mhm.
but at some point they will be, right? So there is this aspect that we need to do. I think it's the same way with the regulation and innovation. So you need to have those like basic regulatory frameworks in place which can guide and have guardrails around the innovation, so that while it goes there, it does not cause like damage to the society. But that said, right, properly designed regulation is what we need, right? So there is an inherent trade-off, there is an inherent tension, and I think conferences like this are a great place where this kind of dialogue can happen, right? And people coming from different backgrounds can exchange their ideas and see what uh, where we lie in the trade-off, and is the pendulum swinging too much one way or the other.
For sure, it's a kind of
Mhm.
yeah, a barometer of the ecosystem at a day like this. I
Yes.
think. How did you find the kind of assembly of, I guess, some guys on the business side here, some on the technical
Mhm.
side? How did you find the experience of the conference?
Yeah, I totally appreciate the diversity, right? Because this is uh, a microcosm of what we see, like while we are at our workplace, right? So there are people with different um, level who operate, let's say, at different levels of abstraction, and having those dialogues is super productive, right? And one thing that I really appreciated was the energy and the curiosity of the audience, which always figured in the audience questions. So it is always great to have like more questions than there is time than the other way around, and that is something that is great about this conference.
Awesome. And is there anything, I guess, you kind of taken any learnings or themes that might apply in your next 6 months, 12 months at LinkedIn?
Yeah, so like some of the themes that emerged here is are also around education. It's like people are interested in how models work and what is being done with their data, how are the AI models working. So I would say like being upfront about that, publishing stuff about that, and would be something that is that LinkedIn is obviously already doing, but we wanted to. I, in my personal capacity, would want to do more of that, right? To have that outreach, so that LinkedIn members have an insight into what is happening inside and how are we thinking about making sure that models best serve our members.
You're on the safety side of things, is that
Yes,
right,
that's
Misam?
right.
Yeah.
That's
So
right.
so that must be pretty kind of your focus at the moment. These
Yes,
kinds of
yes, it
issues.
is, right. And I think it's very important for the safety side of the house to realize that the other side, which is like product development, right? It's like it's the perfect metaphor for innovation versus regulation, right? Which is like you want to have regulation, but you don't want to have too much of it, and you want to have regulation not create too much friction. Right? So that's super important, right? So that's what we strive towards. It's like okay, if you use this particular training platform, right, then all your um, regulatory hurdles, right, in our cases, are the kind of harm types that we want to monitor for, would come for free, right? You train your model. At the end of the model training, you also get all these metrics that will tell you where your model is falling short. And not just that, right, but the next step, like, okay, I know this is something that is wrong with the model. What do I do then, right? So there should be they should be coupled with the mitigation strategies, right? So the more we can make the whole process frictionless, the more important, the better it is for the entire ecosystem.
Amazing. Well, Misam, I'm conscious of your time, so let's wrap up there. But thank you for today. Thank you for joining us, for contributing. I think all things in moderation. Let's go and enjoy a drink or two, and then we'll see you next time.
Absolutely, but in moderation. Yeah.